Hey everyone, on this episode we're going to be making some candles using our Presto pot and answering some questions that you have for us. Hey everyone, my name's Andrew and this is Drady's Soap and Candle, and on this channel we talk about everything candle making. We talk about how to make candles and how to start your own business. So if you'd like to be a part of our family here, go ahead and hit subscribe and hit the like button on this video. So let's jump right in. Alright, so the first thing we got to do when we're setting up our Presto pot is make sure that we plug it in so that it can heat up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy, remove it here, just go ahead and plug this guy in. Very easy to use. It's got like a little magnetic device here. It just latches right on. I like to set it to warm so it doesn't get too hot and it doesn't burn our wax. I already have our wax pre-weighed out here. We have 2,787 grams of wax, coconut wax, in this box right here, ready to fill up 9 of these candles. So the good thing about the Presto pot is that you can make a lot of candles and with multiple different fragrances because you're not mixing the fragrance inside of the Presto pot. You're just melting wax in there. So let's go ahead and put the wax on in here. And the thing I like most about the Presto pot is that it heats up really fast and it melts the wax down pretty quickly. And it's very beneficial when you're considering labor time and how long it takes per candle to make. You really save a lot of money using the Presto pot method. So go ahead and put this in here. So we're going to be answering some of your questions regarding candle making, farmers markets, how do we pick our fragrances, many popular questions that you guys have asked us in previous videos and on our Instagram. Let's go ahead and fill this guy up here. As you can see, the Presto pot is pretty full here. It really takes just a few minutes for it to really melt down and become liquefied wax. So we're going to move this box out of the way. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to prepare our vessels, which I already did beforehand just because it takes a little bit more time and it can be a little tedious and frustrating, and it's really my least favorite part of candle making is putting the wicks on. So I'll go ahead and scoot these over here so they're ready to go. So today we're going to be making fresh peach, which is also known as peach and prosecco. We're going to be making our hazelnut espresso and our mimosa, which is also known as citrus and champagne. And before we jump into that, we're going to jump into our first question asked by one of our viewers. So the first question is, how do you get into farmers markets? This is a great question and a question that I wrestled with for a long time. I'd often go to farmers markets. Me and Katie would visit and we'd look around. There'd be a couple candle vendors there and they seemed to be doing pretty good. And just looking at it, I just would envision in our future us having our booth, having it all set up, looking nice. So as me and Katie just talked about getting into our first farmers market, we really didn't know how to get into a farmers market. So what we did is we posted, they have like a group on Facebook that is for the community of San Dimas. So I just went on there and I posted, hey, my wife and I own a candle company and we're really interested into getting to be a part of the farmers market. So after we posted that comment in there, about 5 to 10 people responded saying, hey, you need to contact this person. They set up the whole event and see if they could get you in there. So once we got that information, I go ahead and I gave them a call, and fortunately enough, they allowed us to get to be a vendor at this farmers market, even though there was already a candle vendor there. Some cities are more lax with the amount of vendors that they allow that sell the same items, and others aren't. Others only allow one. So the farmers market that we're a part of, I think there's about 3 candle vendors there. It wasn't a problem. As soon as I gave them a call, they said, hey, yeah, we just want to give you a heads up. There are a couple other candle vendors. So they were like, yeah, just show up, set up your tent at this time. It's every week. And ever since that day, we signed up, and now we're a part of it. And it's been going super, super well. All right, cool. So the wax is really melting pretty quick. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pour the fragrance. And for this recipe here, for our peach and prosecco, we need 33 grams of fragrance oil. So you just get your scale here that you get off of Amazon. You go ahead and tear that out. And you get your fresh peach and you pour 33 grams. So we got our fresh peach ready to go at 33 grams here. All right, then we get our next cup here. We get our hazelnut espresso fragrance. This one also takes 33 grams. pour it in here. Ooh, it smells so good. Now I set this over by the hazelnut espresso vessels just so I don't get them confused. So on the next one we use Mimosa fragrance oil from Cal Candle Supply. On this candle, because the fragrance is a little bit more subtle, we actually do a 15% fragrance load, which means instead of doing 33 grams like we did on the other two, we do 41 grams. It gives it just a more potent smell, and you're able to get a better hot throw and cold throw when you increase the fragrance oil. So let's go ahead and pour this in. We're going to go to 41. So the wax is still melting. I'm going to set this one over by the citrus and champagne vessels just so I don't get them confused. From there, I'm going to go ahead and just give it a little stir just to make sure that we're getting the juices flowing, that we're moving it around, because it tends to melt a little bit quicker when you stir it around. So let's go ahead and do it like that. Very nice. Cool. Now let's jump into the next question. So the next question is a great question. It's one that I was curious about when I first got into candle making and when we first decided to be a part of farmers markets. Somebody asked us, how much money do you have to take to a farmers market? So for us, we accept all kinds of different payment methods. We accept credit cards, we accept Apple Pay, we accept everything, Venmo, Zelle. We'll figure out a way to get it all figured out. And we also accept cash. And at these farmers markets, a lot of people seem to take cash. It's more of a cash market. A lot of the vendors only accept cash because a lot of them just make things from home. On our end, we're trying to be more of an established business. We're trying to be more professional. Not to say anything bad about the other vendors, but we like to make it convenient for the customers. If a customer really wants a candle, but they only have their card, we don't want them to miss out on that candle. So we just try to provide as many payment methods as we can. So when it comes to the money, we like to take $250 in a cash box. We like to take about 50 ones or somewhere around 50 ones, maybe 55s, and then 50 10s, and then some 20s. We like to take a little bit more 20s because a lot of people have $100 bills, and in order for us to make change for that $100 bill, we have to have some 20s. And so we take about $250 in cash, and then we take about, I'd say, $5 in change when it comes to pennies, dimes, nickels, and quarters. Honestly, we've done over 20 farmers markets, and we've never been short change. We've never not had enough change for our customers. And on average, we do about 30 candle sales at every single farmers market that we do. So showing up prepared just shows your professionalism and shows that you're ready. All right, so this is actually the cash box that we use here. It's got a lock on it. We got it from Amazon. It was about 20 bucks. It's got a little handle on it. It also comes with a safety cord that will latch to your table or to something where somebody can't run by and snatch it because it's latched down. And it'll be a little bit harder for a thief to steal this cash box. It also comes with 2 keys. So I always keep one on my wrist and on my car keychain. So what we do is we just open it up. Very useful. As you can see, we always leave $250 in here. After every sale or after every farmer's market, we always reset this cash box to bring it back to $250, so it's easy to track how much cash that we have. And we have change here. Another thing that you have to be sure to do when you're making sales cash-wise is to implement it into your POS system. Because when you enter it into your POS system, you're able to track what candles were paid with cash. You're able to track your inventory, and because you have it all linked into your POS system, you should know the exact dollar amount you have inside of your cash box, so that after the farmer's market ends, you get to go in your cash box, look at your POS system on the computer. It'll say you have $150 in cash. That $150 should be in addition to the $250 that you already have in here. So you'll count this money, and you should have almost, if you have $250 in here, you get about $400 in here. Then you can take out that $400, put it on that envelope, put it in your business account, and then reset this back to $250. So I highly recommend that you have a cash box and that you implement each cash sale into a POS system, because it's super crucial in tracking your inventory and bookkeeping as well. Keep you organized, keep you up to date, and there won't be any surprises. Hope this helps. One thing to note on that last question is to make sure to accept multiple types of payment methods, because you don't want to miss out on capturing a sale or gaining a customer and their attention and their buy-in to your company. So just make sure that you're accepting more than cash, more than credit card, that you have multiple forms of payment methods so that you could gain customers in any way possible. Alright guys, so it looks like our wax is really mounted nice. So the reason I use 3 different pouring pitchers is so that I don't mix the fragrances and come out with just a funky fragrance. So we'll probably use this one for peach prosecco, this one for hazelnut espresso, and the black one for citrus and champagne. This one takes 279 grams of wax. So what I do now is I grab the pouring pitcher, I grab this guy right here, now just mix it up a little bit here. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to scoop this in and weigh out the wax. Go ahead and pour this in here, just like that. Just like so. Now let's weigh this guy out, see how much it is. Bam, 279 right on the dot. So now that I got that there, I'll take my peach prosecco fragrance oil and I'll pour it in here. And then I'll stir for about 1 to 2 minutes, sometimes 2 to 3. So it should come out to 312 grams total, and if my calculations are correct, it is at 312 grams. So we're right on the money. Perfect. So I'm going to stir it a little bit here just to mix the fragrance oil into the wax. We like to do it at 180 to 185 because we find that that's a sweet spot so the fragrance can bind to 100% of the wax that's melted, so that you get a good smelling candle, not the first time you burn it, but every time you burn it. Because I hate when you burn a candle and it only releases a fragrance the first time you light it. So when we mix it at this temperature, it ensures that you're going to get a fragrance release the entire burn of the candle. Go ahead and stir it up a little. Like that. Cool. So then we're going to move over here and we're going to pour it right in. Alright, now that we got the first one poured, let's go ahead and refill the peach and prosecco fragrance oil and move on to the next jar. Alright guys, we got our second fragrance poured into the cup, so I'm going to go ahead and move this aside. And I'm going to grab that same pouring pitcher that I just used. Make sure that I tear this out so we're getting an accurate reading of the wax. Go ahead and 279 is what we're looking for. To see how much it is. 279 right on the dot. I want to know, what are some of your favorite candle scents? Do you like the more woodsy type of candle scents? Do you like floral, bakery, fruity? I'm curious, what are some of your favorite fragrances? Alright, let's go ahead and pour this in here. Oh yeah, it smells really good, guys. Alright, you always got to make sure to wash out your pouring pitcher once you're done with it. So now that we're done with the peach, go ahead and grab paper towels here. Clean it out, just like this. Very easy, it's not that hard to clean. You just got to do it. That way next time you make candles, you're more efficient and you don't have to worry about cleaning up then. You can just jump right into it. Just go like this. Very easy. Not too hard at all. Let me get some alcohol. Do a couple sprays of alcohol in here. Really get it clean. Give it a little bit of force so you get all that wax off the bottom. There we go. Set this aside. I'm not going to need that. Throw this in the trash. Bam. So now that we're done with the peach, let's jump into another customer question. So the question that we were asked is, where did we get our canopy from? One thing that we did is we visited other farmers markets and we just looked at other people's canopy. I know there's a couple of brands out there. There's Uramax, there's ABC Canopy, and then there's another one called Killich or something like that along those lines. Killich.com or something like that. And what we discovered is that you have to make sure that you talk to the person that is running your farmer's market to make sure that you get a canopy that fits their requirements. Some just want any canopy. Other markets want you to have a OSHA certified, fire retardant, 10 by 10, There's certain specifications that and requirements that you have to meet for a particular market when it comes to your tent. So make sure that you're communicating with your person in charge, whoever's in charge. Contact them, ask them what the requirements are, and make sure that you buy a canopy that fits those requirements so that you don't show up with the wrong canopy and have to go home, pack everything up and go home. Alright, another question that was asked was, how much do farmers markets charge you to be there? What we've learned is that every market is different. We're a part of 3 different markets and are looking to be a part of a 4th. 2 of our markets cost $25 and $27. And there's an enormous amount of foot traffic. We do really well there. Other market that we do is $40 just to set up and sell. Some do require you to have a business license and you have to show your seller's permit on your canopy somewhere. It has to be visible for customers to see in case a city rep comes or a state rep comes. They have to make sure that you have a seller's permit visible, that you have a business license, that you're got all the LLC set in place, your sole proprietorship, whatever it is. They'll come around and they'll make sure that you are a legitimate business and you're not doing anything under the table to avoid taxes and whatnot. So just make sure that you're doing it right, because who knows, one day your company could blow up, and to have all those things already in place is crucial. So when it comes to the price, it really depends on the market that you're in. I know there's one market that we're looking into that requires either a $60 charge or 10% of your total sales, whatever one is higher. We don't participate in that market just because we feel like the cost to be there is a little bit steep and it's just not worth it for our type of business. Maybe in the future, but just for right now, we're sticking to our 3 markets. We got one that's $40, one that's $27, and one that's $25. Look around. I would recommend you call around, call different cities, look into different craft fairs, different markets. It really depends on how much foot traffic goes there. You don't want to join a market that costs $100 to set up and you only get 5 or 10 people that come through your market. That's a huge waste of money. That's a huge waste of time. At the end of the day, if there's no foot traffic, the best thing you could do is market yourselves. That means having a good smile on your face, being very welcoming, saying hello to everybody that walks by your tent. That goes a long way, and that first impression will really set you apart from other vendors that are participating in the same market as you. Hope that answers your questions. Thank you. So now let's jump into our citrus and champagne candle. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this pitcher right here. Let's just move this out of the way for now. We got our fresh citrus and champagne fragrance oil here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here. We're going to tear it out. Now this one takes only 271 grams of wax because we're increasing the amount of fragrance oil because we've increased the fragrance load to 15% instead of 12%. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to grab the ladle, and we're going to get it to 271. 312, if my calculations are correct, and they are correct. Out of all of our candles, my favorite candle is the citrus and champagne one. It just has a nice, subtle, not too subtle and not too strong smell to it. So the next question is actually a really good question. A customer asks, how do we get a Wi-Fi connection if the farmer's market doesn't provide one? It's an easy fix. It's something that you don't have to really do much for. All you got to do is set up a personal hotspot on your cell phone and then hook up, whether you're using an iPad, whether you're taking payments on your phone, that works as well. But if you're using like an iPad, I would set up a personal hotspot on your phone. Just call your carrier. We use AT&T, so what we did, we just called. We said, hey, we need a personal hotspot. We set that up, linked our iPad to our hotspot, and we were able to accept payments. All right. Move this out of the way. That was a great question. That's something that we had to pivot and adjust to. Some farmers markets do offer free Wi-Fi, so you'll be able to use that if they provide it, but the 2 that we use don't provide Wi-Fi. And so what we did is we just set up a hotspot through our mobile carrier, and I think we pay like $5 extra a month, which is very affordable. Hands here. My favorite candle, I think I answered this question earlier, is the citrus and champagne candle. Also, I like mahogany teakwood, and I'm really starting to like our sage lavender candle. That one is like super nice, super relaxing, super comforting. And remember guys, always clean out your pouring pitcher. That way you save time for the next time that you make candles. Remember guys, always clean out your pouring pitcher because you're saving time for the next time that you're making candles. You get it like this. Spray a little alcohol in here to make sure it's all out. Just clean it out nice and well so you're ready to go for next time. Being proactive and efficient is crucial in making candles and reducing labor costs. Now grab our next pouring pitcher for our new set. Make sure to scale it out. Delete the weight. Come over here. For this one, we need 279 grams of wax because we're doing a 12% fragrance load. So we get 312. Throw in our hazelnut espresso. Should be 312. Another customer asked us, how do we pick our fragrances? Honestly, it's a lot of samples, trial and error. A customer asks us, how do you pick your fragrances for your candles? Honestly, it's a lot of buying samples, a lot of tests, trial and error. So we're lucky enough to live next to Cal Candle Supply. So what we'll do is we'll just, every time we restock on either our vessels, our candle wicks, our fragrances, we'll order a free sample from them or just buy a whole bunch of samples that they have of fragrance oil, and we'll just test them out. And whatever we like, whatever we think our customer likes, whatever customer requests that we get, sampling out different fragrances, and if we fall in love with one, then we'll decide to make it into one of our candles and bring it into one of our lines. So the next question is, why did you decide to use a Presto pot? So the way we were doing it last time is just the double boiler, and we discovered that that wasn't as efficient as this Presto pot method. So it was costing more labor-wise to use the pouring pitcher method, and I think we were paying $2 per candle when we were doing the double boiler method. Now with this method, we're paying about $1 and some change. So we're saving almost half of what we're saving on labor costs. It's more efficient. You can also do multiple fragrances at one time, and you could do it quickly. That's why we use the Presto pot method. Alright, let's see how much we got in here. Should be around 279. Fragrance oil should be at 312 after I pour this in. So the next question is, where do you get your labels from? So we've looked into our local label maker. So the next question is, where do you get your labels from? We've looked into our local label maker, we've looked into Avery Labels, we've looked into Staples, all these different companies, but the most affordable and highest quality we found is on onlinelabels.com. You just go on there, they have all sorts of different sizes that could fit your vessel. You just find the right one, put it in an order, design it on their program called Maestro, which is included with the purchase. Once you get it all designed, you could download the template and then take your labels to Staples and have them print them on there using their high quality printer. And that costs, I think for 5 sheets, it costs like $1. So, which at the end of the day turns out to be like 5 cents per label, depending on which labels you get, of course. So onlinelabels.com hasn't failed us yet. They're so good that they arrive in the mail in like 2 to 3 days. Super quick shipping, and it's very affordable. And they also give you a free program to design your label. Great question. So for the last candle, there's obviously a little bit of wax left. So what I like to do, instead of trying to scoop it because it'll take forever, is I'll take the ladle out and I'll set it aside here. And I'll turn this guy, bring the pouring pitcher here, and I'll dump it in. Pour this in here. We hope we've answered some of the major questions that you've presented to us. We thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to pour this last candle. Alright, so now that we got all of our candles made here, you got to make sure you clean out the last pouring pitcher. You're going to do the same thing, just clean it out with a paper towel. Maybe squirt some little alcohol in here. Grab another one along with the last one. Clean it out really well so that next time you're ready to go, you just need to grab the pouring pitcher and go. Very nice. Put this aside. Next thing that you want to do that's very important is make sure to turn off the Presto pot and unplug it, just in case. You always want to unplug it. We want to thank you so much. We hope that we've answered some of the major questions that you guys have had. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Follow us on Instagram. Our handle is somewhere around this area here. Also, we love you so much. Again, make sure you hit like, subscribe to our channel for more candle making tips on how to start a business or on how to make candles in general. We love you so much. Go ahead and follow our video here if you want to learn how to measure the amount of wax to fragrance oil that you blend to get a good fragrance release. So go ahead and click this video and you'll learn how to calculate your own formula.